Hello and welcome to the channel. The film that I have chosen to consider today is Rising Sun, the 1993 hit film starring both Connery and Snipes. There are several great reasons why this film should be considered as one of the better duo films out there. Let us consider them, shall we? Let us deal with the first one. This film is based around a book by the author Michael Crichton. The book is by the same name, Rising Sun. There are some slight differences. We'll get to them in a moment. But first, let's just lay out the fact that this is a part of a series of books, with some of them possibly being related, as we'll see in a second. What are the books that this author has written? Well, they are Jurassic Park and the Lost World, which obviously, as you know, have been turned into massive blockbusters in the 90s. This is followed by Micro next, Easy Go, Timeline, Dragon Tooth, and many others on top of this. So, what about the book that this film is based on? What is it about? Let's consider. Rising Sun is a 1992 novel by Michael Crichton. It was the eighth under his own name and 18th overall, but is about a murder in Los Angeles headquarters of Nakamoto, a fictional Japanese corporation. The book was published by Alfred A. Kopf, Inc. An image of a fashion model, Gia Karagangi, is incorporated in the cover art of the original edition. Although a detective slash murder mystery novel at first glance, Rising Sun deals with the controversial subject of Japanese slash American relations and questions the premise that foreign direct investment in the high technological sectors of the United States is beneficial. Throughout the book, the differences between the Japanese and the Western mindsets are highlighted, especially in the areas of business strategy and corporate culture. This book is set in an unspecified future time when the process of a bloodless Japanese takeover of the US is far advanced. Japanese companies have altogether driven out American ones out of the whole branches of industry. Japanese technologies in virtually all fields are years ahead of American technologies, and Americans see no hope of closing the gap. So, just from this basic overview of the book that I've just read, we can see that this could actually be a very well written and highly regarded book for anyone who is a fan of the author, and more particularly for these kinds of stories, and possibly well worth reading. Let us come to the second point, and that is the production of the films, particularly the director and the producer. The director's name is Philip Kaufman, and the producer is called Peter Kaufman. Related, possibly, maybe brothers, maybe cousins, father, son. We're not exactly told, but that may not be as important as the background of the director, Philip Kaufman. Here's a few films, and his career spans back to 1968 to right up to 2000s. First one, Goldstein. Second one, Fearless Frank. The Great Northfield, Minnesota Raid. The White Dawn. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The Wanderers. The Right Stuff. The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Henry and June. This particular film, Rising Sun. China, The Wild East. Quills, and Twisted. Now, obviously, there are two other films he done, and for the sake of brevity, I kept them off from the list because I wanted to now focus on them. We'll start in reverse order. 1981, he directed what has become a well-known George Lucas film, Raiders of the Lost Ark. This film had several great actors in it, but the main one would be the lead actor of the film, Harrison Ford, who has been in many great films over the years, such as Star Wars, The Fugitive, Clear and Present Danger, and many other films. But there's also one other person in this film that I think deserves a mention, and that is Paul Freeman. Why is he important? 1995, there was the film adaptation of the popular TV series Power Rangers. In that, Paul Freeman played Ivan Ooze. The second film was a 1976 hit film. This time, Philip Kaufman didn't direct, but he wrote a screenplay to this particular film, which was based on Gone to Texas by Asa Earl Carter and produced by Robert Daly. Now, this film was actually directed by Clint Eastwood and was The Outlaw of Josie Wales, one of our the great actors of our times, as well as director, producer, and so on and so forth, Clint Eastwood. In this film, we have several different people that are in it, but one particular is Sandra Locke, who had starred in, from this point going on, in probably 6 or 7 of Clint Eastwood films. But there's these two important films that deserve a mention as we're considering our current film, Rising Sun. The first being The Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the second being this one, The Outlaw Josie Wales. The third thing that we should mention about this film is the cast, as well as the two leading actors, which we'll come to in a moment. In the cast, we have Harvey Keitel, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, Kevin Anderson, Mako, Ray Wise, Stan Igi, I believe, and Stan Shaw, Tia Carrere, Steve Buscemi, Tajana Pettis, Tylen John, Peter Crombie, sorry, Sam Lloyd, Alexandra Powers, Daniel Van Bargen, Lauren Robinson, Amy Hill, Tom Dahlgren, Clyde Kusatsu, Michael Chapman, Joey Miyashima, Tamara Tunie, and Tony Ganois. So, with all the rest of the cast just mentioned, we now can turn to the two main leads. Firstly, Sean Connery. There should be no need to introduce this man really, as he should be well known to the acting world and fans of the acting world. But just to give us a brief picture, he starred in the first several Bonds. He went on to star in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was in Mystery Men in 2000s. He was also at the same point of this film, or just a couple of years later, in a similar themed film called The Rock with Nicolas Cage. So now the other lead, Wesley Snipes. This is a 1993 hit film, and really it was possibly the second of his more action orientated works. He had previously done 157, which is a brilliant film, but let us just list some other films he's been in as well after that and this particular film. But let's just note the fact that he's done different genres of films. He's done comedy based films, he's done gritty type of films as well, and action or martial art films. He was also in Demolition Man with Sly Stone, Sylvester Stallone, that would be. But what about other films? Let's just list them out, shall we? So he was in Boiling Point, Drop Zone, the US Marshals, the Blade trilogy, The Art of War, Liberty Stands Still, Undisputed, Unstoppable, 7 Seconds, The Marksman, and The Art of War 1 and 2, and many other different films where he's done various types of uh kinds of acting genres. So let us now come to the fourth thing, and this is the final thing really. That would be the box office, that being the original budget and what was gained through the sales. So the budget was set at 40 million. It gained 107.2 million in returns. That is pretty good, really, for this type of film. It just shows how great it actually done. And now we're going to take just a brief moment just to consider a little more detail on this fact. And there is only a little bit given. So the film was released on the 30th of July 93 in 1,510 theaters across the US. In its first week, it grossed 15 million in the first weekend, that would be, with an overall run of 63 million pound in the US and 44 million pound overseas, for which combined was 107 million pound. The opening weekend in percentages it was 24.1%. Overall in the US it was 58.9%. Overall overseas it was 41.1%. And the film spent 6 weeks in the top 10.